The story begins in downtown Atlanta with Danielle Carter, a veteran officer with a new, quiet strength. On a hot day in July, she is on a solo mission. She is the new chief of the Atlanta Police Department's Internal Affairs Division, a fact known to only a few. To everyone else, she appears to be an off-duty jogger. Danielle has spent months compiling evidence on Officer Rick Doyle, a man who abuses his authority and has a history of burying complaints. She knows his playbook. He sees a lone black woman he doesn't recognize and follows his usual pattern of harassment. But this time, the field has changed. Her phone buzzes with a confirmation ping. The body camera hidden in her gym bag is live and recording. She positions herself calmly in a precinct parking lot, pretending to be distracted by her phone. Soon, Doyle approaches, his voice filled with condescension. He tells her she's lost, calls her rude, and warns her that people like her don't belong in police territory. Danielle remains silent, her stillness unnerving him. The situation escalates. Doyle, annoyed by her lack of reaction, leans in and mutters a racial slur. Danielle stands slowly, her gaze unwavering, and for a moment, he seems confused. After telling her to stay out of my lot, he walks away. But Danielle knows he'll be back. He returns moments later, more agitated. He purposely tosses his coffee cup at her feet, then shoves her. She stumbles a half step back, not out of weakness, but to ensure the camera catches everything. When he grabs her bag and stomps on it, she still doesn't react, knowing the main recorder is intact. Doyle, fueled by his pride, continues to taunt her. He spits on her boot and demands she get on her knees to show him respect. When she refuses, he kicks her in the stomach, sending her crashing against a chain-link fence. Danielle, however, remains upright, her hand on the fence. As she stands, Doyle catches a glimpse of a badge tucked beneath her shirt. The smirk on his face vanishes, replaced with a flicker of confusion. Despite his flicker of confusion, Officer Doyle's pride overtakes his caution. He slams Danielle against the fence, continuing his tirade. Still recording, she lets him play out the moment. He forces her to her knees, pulls out a pair of zip ties, and declares her under arrest for trespassing and impersonating an officer. As he fastens the zip ties, Danielle's fingers make contact with the hidden emergency beacon on her watch. The silent signal is sent. Doyle, confident that no one will come to her aid, shoves her further into the gravel. He stands over her, gloating. "No one's coming to save you," he growls. But Danielle has a different plan. Using his momentum against him, she unbalances Doyle, drops him to the ground, and scrambles to her feet with her wrists still bound. She smashes the zip ties against the patrol car's doorframe, breaking them. Doyle staggers up, pulling out his baton. Danielle, calm and controlled, disarms him with a single practiced move. When he throws a wild punch, she delivers a precise strike to his ribs that sends him crumpling to the ground, wheezing. As she stands over him, a voice crackles over his radio. "All units, we have a code gray. Suspect Officer Rick Doyle. Stand by for detainment protocol." Danielle presses play on a small device from her bag, and Doyle's own voice echoes through the empty lot, filled with his earlier threats and insults. Just then, two unmarked black vehicles pull into the lot. Agent Morales steps out with two other agents. He addresses Danielle as Chief Carter. Doyle's eyes widen as he finally understands who she is. Danielle shows him her ID, confirming her title, Chief of Internal Affairs. Morales lists the charges against him, from obstruction to assaulting a superior officer. A uniformed lieutenant then clips Doyle's badge from his uniform, a symbol of the end of his career. As he is led away, defeated, Danielle explains, "I gave you every chance. You just never noticed because you weren't looking at me. You were looking down on me." The video of Rick Doyle's arrest goes viral, sparking a media firestorm. The clip, which shows Doyle's full-on abuse of power, is replayed on every news channel, and a wave of public support swells for Danielle. She is hailed as a hero, but she feels no sense of triumph. Her mentor, a retired captain, sends her a text message with a chilling warning. "What comes after the truth, Danielle, is the price." Danielle knows this is just the beginning. When she returns to the precinct late that night, she finds a mountain of new case files on her desk. Officers and victims are finally coming forward, and a full picture of the corruption is starting to emerge. The files detailed altered records, suppressed footage, and misconduct cases that were mysteriously dropped, all linked back to Doyle. Lieutenant Holston tells her, "You pull the thread and the whole damn thing is unraveling." Danielle realizes the problem is not just one bad officer, but an entire culture of silence and complicity. Her resolve is tested when a courier delivers a note with a cryptic warning, "You made your move. Now watch how many pieces fall." Her resolve is tested further when Deputy Commissioner Frank Ryle pays her a visit. He's not there to offer support, but to deliver a subtle threat, accusing her of embarrassing the entire institution. He says he's there to protect the integrity of the department, but Danielle knows he's there to protect the status quo. He warns her that the next blow won't be a whisper. It'll be a vote, a panel, or maybe even a suspension. Later that night, she receives an anonymous call from an officer who worked with Doyle. The officer reveals that Officer Thorne's death was not an accident, as the department had claimed. Thorne was about to talk. The line goes dead, but the message is clear. The corruption runs deeper than she ever imagined, and she's not the only one being watched. Danielle and Lieutenant Holston begin a quiet, off-the-books investigation into the death of Officer Thorne. They review his personnel file and find that his death was ruled an accident, but there are red flags everywhere. Clean toxicology reports, no history of health issues, and a formal complaint he filed against Doyle just days before his death. Thorne was about to talk. Danielle knows he was silenced, and she believes someone inside the department helped make it happen. To dig deeper, she assembles a small, hand-picked team of trusted officers, including a young black officer named Sanchez from cybercrime. They work in secret, sifting through records and building access logs to find any connection to Doyle in the weeks leading up to Thorne's death. They're looking for ghosts, and as one anonymous caller warns her, ghosts protect their secrets. The threats against Danielle escalate. She receives a chilling email with no message, only a recent photo of her, proving she's being watched. Instead of reacting with fear, she feels a cold clarity. She calls Agent Morales and requests a secure trace on the email and federal help with what she now believes is a homicide cover-up. As she prepares to leave the precinct that night, she hears the screech of tires outside. It's likely just a car, but in her line of work, there are no coincidences. With the full weight of the truth on her shoulders, she secures her evidence and leaves the building, knowing a storm is coming. The investigation into Officer Thorne's death picks up speed as news outlets begin digging deeper. They start to question why evidence vanished and why officers with clear misconduct patterns were never investigated. The narrative shifts from being about Rick Doyle alone to the entire system that enabled him. The key breakthrough comes when a handwritten note is found in Doyle's confiscated locker. It's a short but incriminating message to Officer James Kellner, Doyle's longtime friend. "Kellner still owes me for Thorne." Danielle's heart pounds as she connects the dots. She knows exactly what this means. She immediately tries to reach Agent Morales to tell him that Kellner, who had been linked to Doyle for years, needs to be taken off the street. But Morales warns her that she might be too late. Kellner has already clocked out, and his vehicle has been tracked to a West Side police storage facility, the very place where Thorne's original and now missing report had been filed. With Lieutenant Holstrom at her side, Danielle races to the location. They find Kellner's cruiser idling outside the dusty, dimly lit building. The back door is ajar. As they enter, they hear a voice, and suddenly, Kellner steps out from the shadows, a gun in his hand. He tells them he respected Danielle, but he can't back down now. He's here to clean up his side of the mess by destroying the evidence that connects him to Thorne's death. Confronting Officer Kellner in the dark storage facility, Danielle stands her ground. She tells him that running will only make things worse. She reveals that she has a backup hard drive with all the evidence and that Agent Morales has the rest. She reminds Kellner that he helped cover up the death of Officer Thorne, and that's a crime in itself. Kellner, realizing he's been outmaneuvered, his arm wavering, drops his gun to the floor. The sound echoes through the silence. Defeated, he confesses that while he didn't kill Thorne, he made the call that led to the cover-up. Danielle cuffs him herself. As he's let out, he mutters, "I didn't mean for it to go this far." To which Danielle replies, "That's the problem. None of you ever do." With Kellner's confession and the evidence he was trying to destroy, the system's corruption has been cracked wide open. Danielle now has everything she needs: names, records, and a direct link between the death of a good cop and the deep-seated corruption in the department. She knows that with these receipts, she can go straight to City Hall and demand a reckoning. The fight is far from over, but for the first time, she holds all the cards. The day of the city council hearing arrives, and news vans surround City Hall like vultures. Inside the council chamber, a mix of skeptical, hopeful, and nervous officials await Danielle Carter. With Lieutenant Holstrom standing as a quiet sign of support, she takes the microphone. This isn't just about Rick Doyle or Officer Kellner. It's about a culture of corruption. She plugs in her hard drive and walks them through her findings. She shows them the damning footage of Doyle, plays his voice, and provides the files of dozens of officers who were complicit in altering records and suppressing evidence. She details Officer Thorne's case, explaining that his death was no accident, but an assassination carried out to silence him. When she's done, a stunned silence fills the room. The mayor, the most powerful man there, finally speaks. "What do you want us to do?" he asks. Danielle looks him in the eye and delivers her list of demands. A full audit of every complaint from the last decade, external civilian oversight with subpoena power, the immediate suspension of every officer named in her files, and a complete rewrite of the police academy curriculum. She argues that the corruption begins not on the streets, but in the training itself. After a long pause, the mayor agrees to all of her demands. Outside, the news of her victory leaks and protesters cheer. For the first time, justice feels like a tangible reality, not just a dream. Later that night, with the day's victory secured, Danielle stands alone on the precinct rooftop looking out at the city below. The lights and the quiet hum of traffic are a stark contrast to the storm she created. She doesn't want to be celebrated or applauded. She only wants the truth to resonate longer than the lies ever did. Lieutenant Holstrom joins her and offers her a cigarette, which she declines. He asks her if she would do it all again, and she says, "I'd do it louder." Her resolve is strengthened by a small note from a rookie she finds in her mailbox. The note reads, "Chief Carter, I almost quit last week, but then I saw you stand your ground. Now I want to stay and stand too." This is her true win, not the public praise, but the knowledge that her actions have inspired a new generation of officers to choose integrity over silence. The story concludes with a powerful reflection on Danielle Carter's actions. She didn't wear a cape or seek the spotlight. She simply refused to look away, reminding everyone that the real work of justice is not loud or flashy. It's steady, unwavering, and deeply human.